Nairobi. We are still coming to you live from the Dedan Kimathi University here in Nyeri. And as you know, today they were celebrating their sixth graduation ceremony, and one of the guests that they were having today that was receiving an honorary degree is none other than His Excellency, the former President of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, and who is joining me now live here from Dedan Kimathi University. And maybe we can have a small chat with him. Maybe, Your Excellency, first of all, I want to congratulate you for your honorary degree here today.
Thanks a lot.
And maybe a follow-up on that. What do you think about African education as of the moment? Do you think we are now a reckon to?
I think one of the things that really is very impressed me a great deal about this university, Dedan Kimathi University of Technology, is that it's excellent in all sorts of ways. It's excellent in terms of what it is teaching technology, but it's also excellent in terms of the vision it's putting forward. What is the role of an institution of higher learning like a university in Africa, in Kenya, and very focused on the matter of we want to produce at Dedan Kimathi, we want to produce the kind of person who graduates but is inspired by the example even of Dedan Kimathi, inspired to say that we must serve the people of Kenya, to help Kenya, to rescue Kenya from whatever its problems are. I think the university is setting really an excellent example. And I think that if I was saying to the Chancellor and Vice Chancellor and Chairperson of Council and Cabinet Secretary for Education, that maybe what we need to do is really to work at communicating this example of this university to the other universities on the continent, to say, but here is an example to emulate. I'm saying of excellence in terms of education, excellence in terms of the quality of graduate that you produce, but excellence also in terms of a frame of mind, which says we're not training just to sit in an ivory tower. We're training in order to become this instrument of change, of progressive, positive change for the people of Kenya. I think in all respects, the university is setting a very, very good example, and I really would hope that all of us on the continent would want to take exactly that same route.
Okay. We've also seen that in a few African countries, the rate of educated people is very high, but we still have countries in Africa where education levels are still very low. Very few people still go to school. What do you think is, as a statesman, an African statesman, what do you think is holding Africa back from ensuring that every child gets an education?
I think it's a proper appreciation. One of the challenges, of course, is a proper appreciation by our leaders across the continent, the proper appreciation of the role of education and the importance of having these educated Africans. That when we talk about a renewal of the continent, addressing all its challenges of poverty, underdevelopment, and so on, you need educated and skilled people, Africans, to be able to do that. I think that's one of the challenges. The other challenge, of course, as you would know, there are many competing objectives we have on the continent. People want fresh, clean water, and want roads, they want clinics, they want education, they want jobs, and so on. And I think we must recognize the fact that there are limitations to the extent to which our dreams can be realized because of limitation of resources, not because of absence of will, but that with these competing demands, it may be that we cannot devote as much resources to education as we would want to. And I'm saying not because we don't want to do it, but because there's another pressing demand. People need a clinic. Otherwise, they are going to die unnecessarily. And so you have a limited pool of money, and so you'll say, okay, I must put off this tomorrow so that I can attend to this today. Yeah. That's a challenge.
So in short, you're saying Africa is still in the right path in terms of educating.
I think so. I think so, yes.
Also, I know you've been a proponent of good governance across Africa and even in the world. We've seen a lot of agitation from people back in South Africa. They've been calling for the resignation of your president. What is your take on what is going on in South Africa at the moment? And can this spill over to parts of Africa, or is it only a South African problem?
It is a South African problem. But I think that what you see happening in South Africa, as you are indicating, is actually very good. Because what you see manifested is the millions of the people are saying, we want to take responsibility for our destiny, for our future. Mm-hmm. And therefore, we're not going to stand by if we think there are some things that are being done wrongly by government, by the president, by whoever. Mm-hmm. Here is our point of view and so on, and please respond to it. Mm-hmm. I think it's a very, very good thing. And let the government engage the people, present its own case, and see what comes out of that. Next week, we're starting a process in South Africa of a national dialogue. The various foundations have called on all of the South Africans to come together in the national dialogue to say, this is now 23 years after liberation. Why don't we sit together to say, where were we 23 years ago? Where are we today? What has gone wrong? What's gone right? What is it that we do? So that you get the entirety of the population of South Africa to be involved in that. Not just to have the politicians prescribing, to say, look, this is what needs to be done, and all of us stand up and clap. But the people themselves should speak. So I'm saying this process that you see now of people saying, agitating against the president and so on, is a manifestation of a very correct thing. The ability of the people to intervene in terms of determining their lives. And I'm really hoping that the South African government would treat that seriously and respond to the people. And certainly not by shooting people or locking up people, but really engaging, because people are raising legitimate questions. Here is South Africa has now been given a junk status by these rating agencies. It'll have an impact on the standard of living of the people. So the government must talk to the people to say, how do we respond to this? So it's very critically important, but I'm saying a critically important thing also is the fact that the people are saying, we will determine our own future.
Okay. And what if, and this is just a maybe, the people in power don't listen to the people? What do you think might be the result of that?
Well, I really would hope that they would listen to the people, because the other alternative to that is that when the government feels threatened, because the people are not going to stop demonstrating, because their demands have not been addressed. They will continue to demonstrate and to make demands. If the government does not respond in the way I'm saying, by engaging the people, then the danger is that the government will then resort to repression, to start shooting people.
Okay. Your Excellency, I also understand you are in a hurry and
yes,
you're supposed to go back. But I'll ask you one final question. We've seen we've seen reports coming out of a lot of financial outflows from Africa. And African countries have been losing a lot of money that is going out, which have developed the country. Do you think the African countries have the capacity to deal with this or to stop the financial outflows that are happening at the moment? And what do you think might be the cause of this?
Well, as you know, we prepared a report on the matter of these outflows from the continent, which included suggestions as to what the African countries can and should do to address the matter of those outflows. Which fortunately that report and the recommendations were then accepted by the AU and the member states. Now, what we have done as a panel that prepared the report, what we've done now is we've sent out a query to each member state of the African Union to say to them, you know the recommendations that we made about dealing with this matter about the illicit outflows of money out of Africa. You know the recommendations we made. Now, can you please tell us, what are you doing with regard to each one of those, including if there is a problem. If you have a problem of capacity, please indicate that we're not able to do the following things because we don't have the capacity. But a detailed response. Now, that report has got to be ready by June. Because on that basis, we will then get the African Union to act. We are even in contact with the United Nations. We are in contact with the European Union. We are in contact with the OECD, with the World Bank, IMF. Now, once we get a picture from the continent as to what's happening about this matter, about the illicit outflows, it will be possible for us to act, to assist the African countries to discharge their responsibilities.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I've been told our time is even up, and I'll also leave you to proceed to Nairobi. And karibu sana, karibu
Asante.
welcome. And we wish you all the best. And congratulations again.
Asante.
Okay.
Thanks.
Thanks. Welcome. Well, Sophia, that was His Excellency, the former president of South Africa, Thabo Mbeki, who was here at Dedan Kimathi University as he was receiving an honorary degree. And he is now proceeding back to Nairobi as he prepares to go back to South Africa. Maybe I'll give it to you back in studio, Sophia, to take it up from there.
All right. Many thanks, Philip Keitani, for us there in Nyeri at the Dedan Kimathi University. Well, that's all we had for you this afternoon on News Desk. Thank you so much for watching. Business Today is coming up. Good afternoon.